Welcome to this week's What's for Dinner video. My name is Ashley. I'm going to be showing you 3 different meals I made this past week. I don't always follow recipes exactly, but if you're interested, I've linked some similar recipes down below. So the first dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made some delicious breakfast burritos. I made them with potato, bacon, eggs, avocado, and cheese. So I'm going to start off with my potatoes. I'm just going to cut up some russet potatoes into some small dices. That way I can pan fry these. I've never made homemade breakfast burritos. I went through a breakfast burrito phase like a year ago where I loved some breakfast burritos from Mexican restaurants, so now I wanted to try my own. So after I finished cutting up the potatoes, I just went ahead and washed them. Now I'm going to pan fry them. So I'm taking half of a stick of butter, letting that melt down halfway. Then I will remove it, and next I will add in my potatoes. So next I'm just going to work on cooking up my potatoes. So I'm just going to toss them around in that butter, and then I will season with some salt and Cajun seasoning. I add Cajun seasoning to just about everything. You don't have to use this, but you can use like an everything seasoning. And then of course I'm going to add in a good amount of dried parsley flakes for some color. At this point, these start to smell so good that you can smell them throughout the house. So once these were done, I just set them aside and topped it with a lid, that way they can stay warm. And next I just worked on my bacon. So I'm just going to cook up my bacon in some batches. I'm going to cook 4 at a time. I feel like everyone can agree that we just love breakfast for dinner. It just hits different. So I'm just going to continue frying up all my bacon. We like it pretty crispy. So once all my bacon is done, I just set it aside on a paper towel to drain off the excess grease. So next I'm going to work on my eggs. So I'm using that leftover stick of butter, and I'm just going to crack about 5 eggs. I'm the queen of scrambling eggs in a pan. I hate wasting another bowl just to scramble eggs. So for cooking my scrambled eggs, I usually like to have my pan set on medium-low and slowly cook them. It's crazy how little 5 eggs makes in scrambled eggs. I wonder how much it takes to feed a family. So next is to start assembling the breakfast burritos. I just warmed up my tortilla really quickly, that way it's better to work with. And then I'm just going to scoop all of the toppings on a good amount of potatoes, eggs, bacon, cheese, and some avocado. This was my husband's breakfast burrito, so I wanted to make it nice and full. So next is the hard part, to try to wrap a burrito that you overly stuff. And then lastly, just to help everything stay closed and to give it a little bit of color, I'm just going to grill it on a pan for a little bit. This thing would definitely unwrap if I didn't hold it together. So once it was done, I just cut it in half. This is how everything looked when it was done. Definitely so good. I cannot wait to make this again. So the next dinner I'm going to be showing you is a Pinterest inspired recipe. I am making some jalapeno pepperjack chicken sandwiches. So I'm going to start off by making the spread for the sandwiches. I'm just going to make some like garlic mayo spread. Just taking some mayonnaise and some minced garlic, and then I add in some salt and some onion powder and a little bit of lemon juice. So next I'm going to work on cooking up my potato wedges. I'm just going to spare you cutting up potatoes again. I just cut these into wedge form. Pretty simple, and then I just wash them. Now I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of vegetable oil on top and season them with some garlic and herb seasoning, salt, and some pepper. These just went in the oven at about 375 until they were nice and brown. So next I'm going to work on my chicken breast. I just butterflied chicken breast in half, and now I have 2 fillets for the chicken sandwiches. So I'm just going to season again with some garlic and herb seasoning, smoked paprika, and some salt. So before I start cooking up the chicken, I'm going to work on all of my condiments. So first I'm going to chop up some fresh jalapeno. You know how I feel about fresh jalapeno. And then I will end up grilling these later, and then I will chop up some red onion and tomato. So next I'm going to get my chicken breast cooked up. So I'm just going to place a little bit of oil in a pan. I have my pan set on about medium high. Just going to cook these until they're nice and brown on the one side, and then I will flip it and throw a piece of pepperjack cheese on top. And then I'm just going to cover these with a lid, that way the pepperjack cheese will melt. So while that chicken is resting, I'm going to go ahead and grill up my jalapenos. So I just threw in a little bit of oil to a pan. I have this set on about medium heat, and just going to grill these up until they're slightly softened. So lastly, I'm just going to assemble my chicken sandwiches. So I'm going to spread some of the garlic mayo on the buns, and then I'm just going to layer down the romaine lettuce, the tomato, onion, the chicken breast, the jalapenos, and then of course I add avocado. This is how everything looked when it was done, just a delicious chicken sandwich with some potato wedges on the side. So the last dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made some white chicken chili, just kind of like a chicken soup. So first I'm going to start off by making some homemade tortilla strips. This is definitely not my idea, I got this from others, but I'm just going to take some corn tortillas, cut them up into strips, and then I will spray some canola oil spray on with a little bit of salt. So next I'm going to work on my soup. So I'm just going to melt half a stick of butter in a pot. Then I'm going to add in my chopped onions and some jalapeno. So I'm just going to let that saute and cook down in the butter, and then I will add in some minced garlic. So after the onion has slightly softened, I'm going to add in a spoonful of some minced garlic. Just going to cook that around as well, and then I will add in some green diced chilies. So next I'm going to add in a little bit of flour to that butter just to help act as a thickener for the soup. So before I add any liquid, I'm just going to add in all of my condiments, my beans, and my corn, just because I have a tendency of adding too much water. And then I'm going to add in my cups of water. I don't know how much I did. I maybe did 5 or 6 cups, and then I added in my shredded chicken. So next, to make this chicken broth, I'm going to add in my chicken bouillon powder. I do about 1 teaspoon per cup of water. And then for my other seasonings, I'm going to add in some cumin and a little bit more taco seasoning. So next I'm going to add in some fresh squeezed lime juice and some heavy whipping cream. I do like a creamier soup. So I'm going to bring my soup to a boil, and obviously as you let things cook, the better flavor they have. So I do like to cook this for a little while. And then for more of a thickener, I'm going to add in some cornstarch slurry. And then of course I'm going to add in a couple scoops of sour cream and some shredded cheddar cheese. So then I just let this sit for a little bit. This is how everything looked when it was done. I just topped it with some fresh jalapeno, avocado, and those tortilla strips. Thank you so much for watching this week's What's for Dinner video, and make sure you come back next week for another one.